Hello guys, welcome back. Sig Sauer has delivered some exceptional guns to the market over the years, but only a few are as popular as the P229. You might have seen it on a number of top 5 and 10 lists, even in recent years, which speaks volumes for its quality and performance. For a gun that was released in 1992, it is no ordinary feat. The P229 was designed specifically for the US market, using American and German parts to create a weapon capable of tolerating more powerful rounds. The purpose of the P229 was to supplement its predecessor, the P228, but it ultimately replaced it by offering 357 Sig and 40 S&W chambering as well. It was the first gun that could chamber 357 Sig rounds. In addition to the 357 Sig, the P229 can chamber 22 LR, 9mm, and 40 S&W. This flexibility is one of the key reasons for its undying popularity. It is precisely why, even after 3 decades of its release, many gun enthusiasts recommend purchasing it if you are looking for duty concealed carry. I have had this gun for well over a decade, and to be honest, I have grown with it. Thanks to you guys, I have tried my hands at several handguns, but the P229 has a special place in my heart despite that. So I have decided to compile my thoughts and feelings about this gun in this video. If you were on the fence about whether to purchase this gun in this day and age, well, you are in luck. So let's just get to it. A bit of background. The story of what led to the production of Sig P229 is about as interesting as the features it offers. You might know after the infamous 1986 Miami shootout, the FBI was hunting for a magic cartridge, something that could deliver a revolver-like power from a semi-automatic handgun. The 10mm auto was believed to be the answer, but it did not take long for the FBI to realize it was not working. The round and the gun adopted by the FBI at the time, Smith & Wesson 1076, were simply too big. Some tweaks were made in the 10mm cartridge to overcome the problem, which led to the development of another round, the 40 S&W. The new round was about the right size, with the firepower well above 9mm and almost the same size. It allowed the 40 S&W to be used in guns that chambered 9mm without doing much. So why did I tell you all of that? Well, because it led to the development of Sig P229. You see, back then 40 S&W was introduced, it quickly became quite popular, and other companies like Glock and Smith & Wesson were quick to capitalize on it by releasing models specifically designed for the new rounds. Sig Sauer had no gun capable of firing such a powerful round at that time, so the Swiss firearm giant decided to test the water with the P228. It was a solid stainless steel, unlike the metal sheet slides of previous models. Later in 1992, the P228 was upgraded to P229, which could house another round, one that was patented by the Swiss company, the 357 Sig. And no, unlike Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer did not let any other company beat them to the market. The P229 was the first gun ever to chamber a 357 Sig. Thickness. Thickness is one of the important aspects that shooters look for, particularly in concealed carry. Interestingly, the thickness of the original P229 is almost identical to the Beretta. You cannot tell the difference between the widths, even while holding both of the handguns together. Why did I say original? Well, Sig Sauer started changing the designs of P229 in 2009. The newer models do not have the reinforcing band characteristics of the original P229 slides. Hence, all the 9mm models produced post-2009 have the same thickness as other models produced by Sig. However, the change is not as noticeable on the newer 40 and 357 models, despite lacking the prominent reinforcing bands. To be honest, I don't even remember whether I had any issues with the beefy body of the pistol. It dates back a very long ago, and as of now, my hands are used to the feel. Newer models might feature some objective improvements, but I feel more at home with the OG P229. That said, I do not necessarily recommend purchasing the OG models. I have read and heard from fellow YouTubers that the newer models feel better, and I guess anyone who has not practiced enough with the OG model might find the newer models more suitable. Incredibly stable with 9mm. Although the 9mm variant was introduced later than the original P229, whoever came up with this idea was a straight-out genius. As discussed earlier, the P229 is beefier and heftier than the Sig Sauer's other models. For reference, the OG P229 is about 2 ounces heavier than the P228. I know it is not a huge difference, but believe me, you will feel much better firing a 9mm from P229 than P228. It seems Sig struck the right balance with the weight, which made the pistol incredibly stable. Now, I would not say it does not have recoil at all, but trust me, even compared to the modern polymer frame handguns, it is nothing. It hardly feels like a slight push. Furthermore, in almost a decade of its use, I have used different bore axes in it. And even without the high bore axes, I barely notice muzzle rise. You have to try it to realize how fun shooting with the OG P229 9mm is. Trigger performance. The trigger of P229 is another feature that I am a fan of, with single action trigger breaks with a mild but satisfying snap. Thanks to its big broad trigger shoes, you get a tactical point of leverage against a sear. And if you can time the reset correctly, double taps are simply incredible. The double action trigger is also just as good. It is neither stacked nor over travels, something I have only experienced in Smith & Wesson 5906. That said, some people report a significant drop in action pool in a single action. I do not know exactly the magnitude of the drop, but I also feel it. However, for me, it has never been an issue. However, that is not to say you would like it exactly as I do. You can get Sig's short reset trigger kit with long safety and modified sear to work around it. Reliability. I know most of this gun has been about how I feel about using this gun, but reliability is one parameter that is as objective as it can get, and it is something that I personally can vouch for. I have had 9mm and 357 models for over a decade. By now, I can safely say that I have shot thousands of rounds from both models. To be honest, I have used 9mm a little bit more than the 357, but the difference is probably not significant. Over the years, I have experienced some issues relating to jammings, but nothing I could count as a reliability problem, and frankly, the jams were mostly the result of my own errors. Nonetheless, the jams could be cleared with the standard emergency drill. That said, I have replaced the recoil springs several times per the manufacturer's recommendation. Sig Sauer recommends changing the recoil springs after every 5,000 rounds, and by sticking to the recommendation, I have managed to keep my guns running. Furthermore, it does not take much training to replace the spring coil, and they cost only about $20, so there is really no reason not to replace them. Sights. Sights on the P229 get the job done, but are not ideal. You can work with them in regular conditions even when the vitals go dark, but to get that satisfaction of a green glow in a dimly lit environment, you will have to swap them. Fortunately, there are really good options on the market, and you can replace them yourself at home. The grip shares the same story. It really is fat, and I mean it. Anyone with small hands would definitely feel it. While it is an option to switch to the Hogue G10 grips, some find its flat and slab sides a bit uncomfortable. But again, it is something very subjective. Should you get it in 2023? Now to the million-dollar question. Well, let's see. It has been around 3 decades since the launch of the original P229 and more than a decade for the newer models. I would not say there are no better options in the market. There certainly are. But there is something about P229 OG that I feel at home with. Frankly, there's not much I can complain about besides the grip and the sights. And those are the things that you have to replace in most handguns. Furthermore, the thickness of the P229 can be a problem if you want to tuck the pistol in your pants. I mean, compare it with the Walther P88C and you will feel the difference. So, this is not an ideal option if you're looking for modern concealed carry. If you want something in the mid-size range to have fun at the range, try to track down OG P229 9mm, and I promise it will make your day. That is all I had on the P229. I hope it has been fun and informative. Let me know what you think of the P229 in the comment section, and stay connected with the channel to learn more about guns and everything else surrounding them. As always, I will see you at the next one.